Ahoy, race fans! How is everybody doing? We made it. We managed to stay up and about. Ready for this one. The Spanish Formula One Grand Prix 2025. Bring it on. A McLaren lockout in the front row. Our boy Oscar Piastri is ready to take this one home. Can he get the job done? You would have to think so. A McLaren lockout on that front row. As I said, our boy Oscar in pole. Assuming that McLaren don't do anything completely stupid here, they should see this one through to the end and bag themselves a 1-2 finish. But I say, as long as they don't do anything stupid, these two drivers are fighting for a driver's championship. Ahoy there, Naomi. How are you? Nice to see you. Oi. Sorry, got a bit distracted there. These two drivers are, of course, fighting for a driver's championship, so who knows? 13 minutes until lights out. But it should be a relatively simple 1-2 here for the McLaren boys, for Oscar Piastri. But we'll see. I mean, we've been talking about it in prior races. McLaren do seem to be not necessarily intentionally. I mean, it depends if there's the conspiracy theorists amongst us as to whether they're doing it on purpose. But it does sometimes feel like there's a little bit of favoritism towards Lando Norris when it comes to the strategy. We did hear Zach Brown say early on in the season, or before we even had a race, that it was the era of Lando Norris. Well, Oscar Piastri's just come along and thrown a literal spanner in the works, and it hasn't quite gone the way that's expected. But, I mean, Lando's right there. He's knocking on the door. And it does seem like it will be a race between those two McLaren drivers out front. Heel fries, ahoy, mate. How are you going? Oh, God bless you, Naomi. And here is Lando Norris heading back into the pit. So, 12 minutes until lights out. A McLaren lockout of that front row. Oh, there she is again, Naomi, looking good. My favorite part of the pre-race. Verstappen for the win, says Heel Fries. Verstappen obviously drives the hell out of that car. Yuki Tsunoda, by the way, starting from the pit lane. So there we go. Yuki Tsunoda didn't get out of Q1. Verstappen's teammate. Verstappen obviously drives the hell out of that car. I just don't think Red Bull have the pace. It should be a pretty simple 1-2 finish here for the McLaren boys. That man right there starting on pole, number 81, Oscar Piastri. To Oscar. Bring it on. Spanish Grand Prix. But you never know. Look, Red Bull have given Max opportunities, the best opportunities possible in the race situations that he's been in. I mean, look at Monaco last weekend. Monaco, they kept him out there just hoping for a red flag, and you just never know. If a red flag had have eventuated, Red Bull and Max Verstappen would have stolen a victory against all the odds. So, you know, Red Bull, they're always on point with their strategy. And I dare say maybe a longer run on the opening stint. Hope for a safety car. If they get a safety car, race on. So never say never for anybody. We're 10 minutes away from lights out. Never say never. But at the moment, as it stands, it should be a pretty simple 1-2 for McLaren. But I've just got these visuals of McLaren one day just getting in each other's way. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are both fighting for the Drivers' Championship. It's not unheard of that they could tangle up a little bit in their fight for the crown. And as long as he can hold off the attack from behind from George Russell, Verstappen will be right there waiting to pick up any pieces. Repeat in the making for Verstappen if he does get the job done. Have to wait and see. We don't have to wait very long at all. So heel fries. Heel fries has obviously gone Max Verstappen and the Red Bull. Let's see. Oh, Jamie's up for the race. So we'll see. I wonder what the odds are on this one. I didn't end up putting a bet on. I might need to slap on a cheeky wager. Let's see. There we go. Spanish GP. All right, so Oscar's paying $1.62. As you would expect, he is the raging hot favorite. Starting from pole, Lando Norris, $3.30. $31 for George Russell. You know what? $31 for George is not a ridiculous wager. Don't know that Mercedes have really got the car for it, but George is, of course, known as the tyre whisperer. Could he go through on a long stint and kind of swing the momentum in Mercedes' favor? So $31 is not crazy. Oh, the button. Ahoy, mate. How are you, buddy? Damn these late races. 6 minutes to go until lights out. I got talked into this one as well. I wasn't going to do it because obviously our biggest numbers for Formula One, as you know, on TikTok. And we're currently in the naughty seat on TikTok. So I wasn't going to do it tonight, but I got talked into it. The YouTube crowd that was there for the footy talked me into sticking around and staying up for the race. So we'll see. Oh, Rubber Arm Jones here. I was easily convinced. But anyway, pretty obvious to know what I've been up to in between streams. I've got to say that I had no idea that those comments were visible. I thought that that comment was a private message between me and her. So I'm glad I didn't say anything more than what I said. And it's probably why she then proceeded to DM me and with a little bit of a cheeky face. Like, God, I didn't know that those were visible. My bad. But anyway, I did find out some valuable information about one's schedule. Because we were discussing last time about how we were disappointed that she's not on the roster anymore. Well, apparently she is. We just haven't been going at the right times. Jason, ahoy, mate. Four and a half minutes until lights out. Odd Popper, ahoy, mate. Your phone got robbed. Oh, no. That's no good, mate. I tell you what, you're not having a good run, are you? Garage doors falling on you. Phones being stolen. Sort of happens that way, doesn't it? When happens to me all the time as well. One bad thing happens and then another one quickly follows it up, but things always come right again. But welcome along, Odd Poppet, nonetheless. Formula One time, not far away, 3 minutes and counting. A lockout of the front row for Mercedes. A lockout of the front row for McLaren. And our Aussie boy, Oscar Piastri, starting from pole. Oh, Odd Poppet, you put a bet on the Roosters game and the Penrith game. Oh, no. We've created a monster. Well, I'll have you know, Odd Poppet, I won the 4-leg multi on the Rabbitohs Warriors game. So it's been a very good day for me also. Very exciting times. Yeah, you probably did the best thing there, Poppet. The bunnies, they were disappointing. Wait a minute. What? Did they just say Max Verstappen's outside the top 3 on the grid? I thought he qualified in 3rd. Okay, well, ignore everything that I said in the pre-race. Because I spoke that whole pre-race thinking Max Verstappen was starting 3rd on the grid. Oh, he is starting from 3rd. Okay. I don't know what the hell these guys are on about on the TV. Maybe they said he hasn't started from outside 3rd on the grid since. Because yes, I did a whole lead in at the top of the stream about how I think the race is going to go, and it all centered around Max Verstappen being in 3rd place. But there's our boy Oscar Piastri. An easy win incoming. Or at least one would think. So everybody's on the soft tyre. Everybody, it looks like. Except for Tsunoda. Okay, so Yuki Tsunoda starting from the pit lane. He's on the medium. Yuki will be going for a longer first stint. Red Bull will be hoping for a safety car to bring Yuki back into this race. Failed to get out of Q1. And will now start the race from the pit lane. They're off for the formation lap. Here we go. Race time. Formation lap underway. McLaren lock out of the front row. Everybody on soft compound except for Tsunoda. So that'll be interesting. Let's see how this one goes. 66 laps. Let's go racing. Formation lap. Expected 2 stops, but we'll see. See if somebody changes it up and tries to go just the 1 stopper. You'd have to think that it would be George Russell, right? Oh, the button says at least Yuki has nothing to lose. In a sense, yes. I mean, obviously in this race, but isn't it crazy? Like, For years now, we've been saying that second Red Bull car is cursed. It wasn't Checo Perez. It wasn't Liam Lawson, after all, because here we are, Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, that's what happens when your team builds the car specifically around one driver. This is the situation you find yourself in. Struggling to find somebody else come in and drive the vehicle. No, it's not really a rant, Jace. It's just a fact. It's a well-known fact. They've put all their eggs in the Verstappen basket. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's what they've chosen to do. They've got to live by it. They've got to die by it. .316. Okay, formation lap done and dusted. The McLarens pull up. Front row lockout, as we said. And it's looking all nice and orange up there at the front. Into the pit lane dives Yuki Tsunoda. The poor guy. And bringing up the rear, Franco Colapinto. And the red lights about to come on. We got the green flag at the back. And let's go. We're off and racing. McLaren get off to a glorious start. Oscar Piastri's gone flying, but here comes Verstappen on the outside of Norris. Norris is under big threat. Verstappen holds the inside line. A slight lock-up. He's got him around the outside. Norris drops back to third. Norris's run of poor starts continues. Somebody's just dived down the escape route off track. But Max Verstappen has split the McLarens early on corner one. Lando Norris just gets off to such poor starts. Every single race, the poor bugger just can't get away. And now Leclerc's under attack. George Russell is in behind him. Terrible start for George Russell as well. But it's Oscar Piastri now breaking away out in the lead. Verstappen in second place. And Lando Norris dropping back that one spot into third and losing ground. He'll be under attack from Lewis Hamilton, who's up into fourth. Boy, we haven't seen that for a while, outside of a sprint race at least. And here comes Alonso up on the inside of one of the racing balls, but looks like they're going to maintain position there. And what an exciting first lap it's been. Oscar Piastri, though, holding firm out the front. Across the line they come. It's Piastri from Verstappen, from Norris. And now we've got an attack on the inside. Further back, they cut the camera away. I couldn't see who it was. It looks like one of the Kick Saubers further down the grid. Taking over one of the Aston Martins. It was Hulkenberg on Alonso. There we go. And Alonso comes back at him on the outside. They almost touch. It doesn't matter that they're only jostling for the top 10. We nearly had wheel-on-wheel contact there in the middle of the grid. Piastri needs to break that DRS range because Verstappen's broken it from Lando Norris. Piastri could be under big threat here. It's the top two, and then it's nothing at the moment. They are breaking away. Verstappen closing the gap. Realizes, I suppose, how important these early laps are. Staying within DRS range, putting pressure on Piastri. Make him work on those tyres. Don't let him break away in clean air. So Verstappen does have DRS on Piastri. The McLarens could not have got off to a worse possible start. Well, Piastri was fine, but he's now under a big threat. Verstappen doesn't have enough room on that straight. But Max is flying and he's sticking right with him here. Half a second back from Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris has fallen now a further 2.5 seconds back. What a poor start that was from Lando. Feeling the pressure again. You know, Lando Norris, we keep saying it, but he just keeps coming up with the mistakes. And Oscar Piastri's put the foot down now. He's broken the DRS. And he's pulling away now from Max Verstappen. Third lap in. And a little bit of clean air now for Oscar. Watch him pull away, but Verstappen is comfortably in second place. George Russell is furious. George Russell was on the radio arcing up about drivers around him moving under braking. He's not a happy camper, Georgie boy. So apart from Verstappen getting a great jump on Lando Norris, not a whole lot's changed in there. The top 3 or 4. Piastri, a 1.5 seconds from Verstappen. And Norris is 2 seconds back from Oscar Piastri. Four laps in of 66. And this is now Oscar's race to lose. But Red Bull, they threw the spanner in the works. They had to get in and break up those 2 McLarens as early as possible. Well, they've done that. Good Lord, Hulkenberg's gone very wide. Nearly found himself off track. But he manages to hold on and keep himself going. Piastri pulling away out in front now, 2 seconds clear of Verstappen. You feel like Verstappen kind of gave it all or nothing in those opening laps, right? When he didn't make the pass, he's now decided to just accept second place and pull back and preserve those tyres and maybe go for a slightly longer stint or possibly even go for an undercut. Red Bull might call the undercut. So we'll have to see what happens there. But it seems like he's resigned himself to second place for now. We get a replay here of the race start. And again, just such a poor reaction time for Lando. He tried to move across, cut Verstappen off. He'll be having nightmares about these race starts, poor Lando. You got to feel sorry for him. Oh, the button. Karen Russell straight on the phone to the manager. There's only one Karen. And his name is Horner. Whingy Spice. On board with Lewis Hamilton there from the start. He didn't get a good jump either, Lewis Hamilton. But up in 4th spot at the moment. It was certainly opportunistic around the outside. Certainly not a convincing start from Lewis. On board with Liam Lawson. Contact there for Liam. And here's Hulkenberg from the start. That's his vision of it. It was a mess in front of him. Oh, and there was contact there, definitely from Hulkenberg. He was the one that skipped down the escape lane. There was a lot going on there at the start of the race. Lap 6 of 66, and Piastri's got a 3-second lead now. Norris is 1.2 seconds back from Verstappen, making ground on the Red Bull. Norris about to be within DRS range if he keeps up this pace. Try and get that second spot back. Albon is told to box. He's got that front wing damage from the start. And he'll be diving into the pits nice and early. Hamilton and Leclerc, teammates in a battle. Leclerc's got DRS, but Hamilton holds fort for now. Trying to maintain fourth position. Well, honestly, if Leclerc's got the better pace and the DRS advantage, they should just slingshot each other here. Just slingshot each other. There's no point burning your tires defending against your teammate. Albon in and out of the pits. Hamilton maintaining fourth spot for now. But it sounds like they're saying on the TV exactly what I was saying. What's the point of fighting your teammate? Norris is told to push. They're up to temperature. We want to try and pass Verstappen. Oh, really? Jeez, I had no idea the object of Formula One racing was to pass the driver in front of you. Incredible insight there from the McLaren team radio. He's dropping back a little bit from Verstappen, but tires up to temp, and Norris can try and start chasing down the Red Bull because Piastri's just flying out in front. Although Verstappen has made up a 10th. Hamilton and Leclerc, the battle for fourth spot. Leclerc right on Hamilton's tail. He'll have DRS, and Hamilton really should just move aside and let his teammate pass. There is no point chewing up the tires, as I said, defending. But then again, I mean, this is Ferrari after all, right? So Ferrari be doing Ferrari things. They don't understand race strategy, typically. So we'll have to wait and see if they call it at some point. And Hamilton will just allow Leclerc through. Lap 8 of 66. And it's the Oscar Piastri show. We're not going to see a whole lot of Oscar tonight. Unless something bizarre happens. He's just flying away out in front. We have a look at the race timing here. There you can see everybody on the softs except for Yuki Tsunoda on the medium, who has gained a place because Alex Albon did get that front wing damage. He had to come into the pits. Here's Leclerc now down the inside. Hamilton defends vigorously. Wow. I tell you what, Ferrari, there's no need for this inter-team battle. And, well, okay, Yuki Tsunoda into the pits. Well, that's bizarre. Those medium tires obviously weren't doing too much for Yuki because I would have thought that the whole purpose of Yuki starting from the pit lane and on the mediums would have been to give him a slightly longer stint and then hope for a safety car or something. But Tsunoda into the pits already, unless he had some damage as well. So I don't really Okay, Hamilton's now been told swap positions. Let's see if he obeys the team orders. Swap positions. It's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, they're both just chewing up their tires here by battling each other. Leclerc and the DRS will clearly have the greater pace. And there we go. Hamilton does go wide and let Leclerc through on the inside. And Charles Leclerc now starts to break away from his teammate. Into the pits now goes Hülkenberg. He's getting the medium tire put on. Sainz is in the pit. Well, these are very early pit stops, and this is a poor pit stop for Sainz. Jeez. Oh, well, he copped some damage too, didn't he? Yeah, that was a long pit stop, but yeah, Sainz had some damage from that start as well, didn't he? The 10 laps in of 66. Hulkenberg, Behrman, Tsunoda, Albon, and Sainz have all pitted. I still don't understand why start Tsunoda on the medium. Well, I suppose if they're doing a two-stop, they might be going medium, soft. Give him enough of a stint on a medium. Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what tyres Tsunoda had available to him. I mean, he should have more soft tyres because he didn't get out of Q1. As Gasly now comes into the pits. We're seeing some interesting pit strat here. Odd Popper, ahoy, mate. Welcome back. It is Piastri now almost 4 seconds ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen's now got Lando Norris right on his tail within the DRS range. Norris is going to be all over Verstappen in a couple of laps. Let's see. We've seen some early pit stops. Hulkenberg and Behrman have gone on to medium tyres. We're now on board with Norris. You can see the Red Bull. He's got him in his sights. He's a bit far back. But in a couple of laps, Verstappen's on the radio. No grip compared to them. No grip, says Max Verstappen, compared to the McLarens. And here comes Lando Norris with the rear wing open. He has a look on the outside. Max plants his car right in the middle of the track and covers off any move from Lando Norris. But he'll be a lot closer in the next lap or two. Norris right on his tail. Oh, Jamie on the ball. Straight onto that, my man. On board here with Lando Norris on lap 12. He's so close now to Max. Probably not close enough for the overtake here, but on the next lap or two. The rear wing opens. Lando Norris doesn't even have a go here. He wants to be closer to Max. Not in a sexual way, in an overtaking sort of way. And he's closing that gap. He should be right in the next lap or two with DRS. And here we go. This could be it now. This is his chance. Norris dives down the inside and sweeps past Max Verstappen. Norris up into second spot. And Verstappen, though, holding on to DRS range for now. But those McLarens are just lightning at the moment. And Verstappen's already been on the radio saying that he doesn't have the grip. And if you don't have the grip, you just simply don't have the pace. "13 laps of 66. And Verstappen's almost fallen out of DRS range here. It's the McLaren show at the moment. Piastri, 4.2 seconds clear out the front, and Norris has broken DRS. Verstappen, 1.3 seconds behind. Here's Gabriel Bortoleto taking Liam Lawson. And up into 10th spot there, Bortoleto. Paddy Colkin, ahoy, mate. My girl won in Birmingham, qualifying. Oh, nice. Cheers to her. Oh, who's in the gravel? Someone's in the gravel. One of the Aston Martins is off. Alonso was off track. Verstappen exiting the pit lane. And Verstappen comes back out in 8th spot ahead of Liam Lawson, ironically enough. In between the racing balls. That's hilarious. So in 7th, you've got Hadjar, 8th, Verstappen, who's gone onto another set of soft tyres. And right behind him in 9th, Liam Lawson. That is fantastic, though. Maddie Corkin, I love to hear my girl doing well there. Qualifying in Birmingham. I'll have to send her an Instagram message of congratulations. So Red Bull have pulled the trigger here, obviously looking for an undercut. I mean, it's all they've really got to hope for. Verstappen's already been on the radio saying he doesn't have the grip, he doesn't have the pace. So Red Bull hoping for an undercut, but the pace of these McLarens too strong at the moment. Piastri and Norris. Piastri 4 seconds ahead of Norris. Leclerc a further 7.5 seconds back from Lando. That's a very comfortable lead here for the McLarens. As Colapinto's into the pits. Lap 15 of 66. Poor Carlos Sainz and the Williams down there in last place. The Piastri from Norris, from Leclerc, from Hamilton. And Hamilton has actually got Russell charging down on him. Piastri flying out in front, so... Whoa. I wonder how much time you lose for a pit stop here. As we're on board with Max Verstappen as he overtakes Isaac Hadjar. Verstappen sweeps through into 7th place. Yeah, so I wonder how much time you lose for a pit stop as Alonso's in. Fernando Alonso in for the pit. Let's keep an eye on Alonso here. Okay. And he'll come out behind. It looks like an Alpine there. Anna Williams that's gone through. Alonso will come out in last place. 2 seconds behind, but he'll be on the fresh tyres. Hamilton's on the radio, told to box. Lewis Hamilton will be into the pits from 4th place. George Russell was charging down on him. So that makes sense. Bring Hamilton in first. So here he comes. Lewis Hamilton. That's a long way to go, says Hamilton. 2.2 seconds stop time in the pits for 16, 17, 18. Okay, so it's going to be around about a 22, 23 second, 22 seconds. Okay. So you lose about 22 seconds race time going through the pit lane. So if Piastri were to pit now, he would come out just ahead of Antonelli. come out, he'd break up the Mercedes and he'd still be ahead of Verstappen. Although Verstappen is charging through the pack, he has now got DRS on Kimi Antonelli. Charles Leclerc now told to box. As Verstappen has a look around the outside, and with those fresher tyres, with more grip, sweeps around the outside of Antonelli, and he'll have some open space now to really put pressure on the McLarens. They'll have to respond at some point, you would think. As Leclerc now finishes his pit, Verstappen's up into fourth. 3 seconds behind Russell. And Leclerc finds some open space here in between Hadjar and Lawson, breaking up the Racing Bulls. So that's a good pit stop there for Leclerc. He found some open space. That's what you want to find. You want to find a gap, a nice little gap and some open air to dive into when you come back out onto the track. So we'll see if they're losing around about 20 to 22 seconds through the pit lane. Then Max will certainly find himself within striking distance of those McLarens out in front. If I've done my math correctly, Hamilton's on the radio. He wants to know why he was pulled into the pit so early. And it's a protection for an undercut from behind, apparently. As Verstappen can now see George Russell. And he's got him in his sights. Pacing for third spot. So 21 seconds or thereabouts. 22. Piastri still should have a pit stop distance over Verstappen. But Verstappen's flying. But of course, even if Piastri does come out behind, he'll have the fresher tyres and should be able to track down the Red Bull with ease. The pace that these McLarens have. So not a whole lot to be concerned about here for the McLarens as Verstappen goes through on the inside of George Russell. And Verstappen's up into third. Once again, Red Bull certainly giving Verstappen the best possible opportunity. Lap 20 of 66. We're back to that opening three. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen. All right. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, the top three. 20 laps in. So, Red Bull have thrown the spanner in the works. Red Bull always do like to do something a little bit different, don't they? Just to keep things interesting. They'll do the opposite of what the other teams are doing to give themselves a chance. Piastri, how far do you think we can get? Lap 25, if possible, is what they want. Possible, but difficult, says Oscar. So McLaren looking to push to lap 25. Interesting. It's the McLarens looking for the long stint. George Russell into the pits. Swapping out for mediums. And Russell will drop down behind Leclerc, behind Hamilton. Here comes Gasly onto the main straight, but he should be out ahead of Gasly. And he is well and truly. So George Russell slots out into 7th place. But he's got a nice gap there, some nice clean air to drive off into, which is very important, as I was saying earlier. Lando Norris told to box. Okay, McLaren making their first stop. The medium tyres are out. Norris is going to go onto the mediums. Piastri staying out. Here he comes. Lando Norris dives in. Verstappen will go through into 2nd place. Verstappen down the main straight. There he goes, passing Norris and up into 2nd. So Red Bull have successfully undercut, but McLaren on the fresher tyres should be easy pickings to make up this time. Norris falls 10 seconds back, but you would expect later in the stint, Red Bull once again hoping for a safety car, you would think, but after Piastri stops. And now Piastri told to box. So Piastri got through to lap 23. That's not a bad effort. So Max Verstappen is about to be leading this race. He will have substantially older tyres, though, by the time the McLarens get back out on track. And Piastri will come out in 2nd place, you would think. He should still come out comfortably ahead of his teammate, Lando Norris. Into the pits he goes. Those old soft tyres off, fresh mediums on. And here comes Oscar Piastri. Where's Verstappen? Down the main straight goes Verstappen. Flying past into the lead of this race. Red Bull successfully undercut, but much fresher medium tyres here for the McLarens. Verstappen most certainly will have to pit again very, very soon. Piastri, 5.5 seconds back from Verstappen, who takes the lead of this Grand Prix. And Norris down in 3rd place. But Max on the soft tyre, that'll start to break up. And on those fresh medium tyres, the McLarens should make ground very easily, you would expect, and hunt down the Red Bull. So Red Bull, once again, I mean, they're hoping for a safety car or some sort of incident now that they've managed to get Max in the lead of the race. And that's what they do, Red Bull. They give their driver every opportunity. They just mix it up. Bringing Verstappen in early, going for the undercut, get him track position. How are we doing out there, everyone? It's been an exciting race so far, especially that opening lap, and it's intriguing to see the different race strategies that we've got going on here. I've been enjoying it so far. Still expecting a McLaren 1-2 unless something really catastrophic happens. Like I said, a safety car or something like that, an incident of some sort would really bring this race back towards Red Bull. They've given themselves a great chance. Lap 24 of 66. So almost halfway through, or getting there anyway, still a little bit off. It's Verstappen from Piastri, from Norris, Leclerc, and Hamilton. That's your top 5. Russell and Antonelli, with Gasly, Hadjar, and Hulkenberg rounding out the top 10. Lawson's on the radio, demanding a position back. Don't know what that was all about. We didn't see it. We just heard the radio call. And it was Alex Albon saying that Liam pushed me off. So Verstappen's on 11-lap old soft tyres. And we saw in the opening stint, 10 to 17 laps was the call for the opening stint on softs. So Verstappen, he'll be back into the pits very, very soon. Down the main straight, a Williams, a Racing Bull, and an Aston Martin. Liam Lawson around the outside takes the position on Alex Albon. Well, he was demanding the position back. He's gone through and he's worked for it. He's taken it back cleanly. Nice move there from Liam Lawson. As it transpires, Lawson wasn't the problem after all in that second Red Bull. Who'd have thought it, huh? Who'd have thunk it? Lap 26 to 66. Verstappen from the two McLarens. But as I said, Verstappen with the early pit stop. I don't think McLaren will be too worried at the moment. An unexpected incident or something here, though. Changes the whole complexion of this race. So here we are. Here's Max Verstappen out in the lead. Piastri 5 seconds back. So those medium tires obviously haven't kicked into gear yet because they're not making a lot of ground here on the Red Bull. Yes, odd pop it. Both McLarens have now pitted, switched to fresh mediums. Verstappen's on the soft tire. "27 laps of 66 in. Alex Albon's told to box to retire the car. The race is over here for Alex Albon in the Williams. Hosea, ahoy, mate. Odd pop it. You were only gone 5 minutes. Yes. Yeah, both McLarens had yet to pit. And of course, you lose that 22 seconds in a pit stop. So the undercut from Red Bull was successful for now, but Max went on to soft tires. Oh, and there's why Albon's been retired. Half his front wing's missing. Oh, wait a minute. He's going back out. All right. Alex Albon was told box to retire the car. They've sent him back out. Severe front wing damage, but he's gone back out there. So there you go. Alex Albon told on the radio, box to retire car, and they sent him back out. Yeah, catch you later, Jace. Okay, Verstappen's on the radio saying it's so hard to drive. Like, I can't brake, and I have no turn in low speed. So Verstappen leading the race, but he's not happy. Mookie, ahoy, mate. "29 laps in. Verstappen, as Piastri is now making big inroads on that lead. 3.3 seconds. As those medium tires, they're now starting to cook. Here come the McLarens. 3 seconds. They are just chewing away this time. Into the pits comes the other Williams. Oh, that's Albon. Okay, Albon's back in the pits, and this will be to retire the car. Well, that was really bizarre. Oh, I wonder if it was because he picked up that penalty. So they sent him around for another lap just so that he served the penalty. Because I think, I could be wrong, but I think if you don't serve a penalty that you're given in the race, it carries over to the next race. So they told him to come in to retire, went, oh crap, he's actually got a penalty. They served the penalty, sent him back out again, and they've pulled him straight back into the pits to retire. As Verstappen pits from the lead. Max Verstappen is in the pits. Piastri's already gone through into first place. Norris has gone through into second. Does he come out ahead of Leclerc? He doesn't. Charles Leclerc goes through. And Hamilton's now coming down the main straight. Hamilton, will he get past? And Russell is right with him as well. Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen side by side with Hamilton here going into the first turn. Verstappen leads. Hamilton's almost come through and taken the spot, or Leclerc, sorry. Well, Leclerc has gone through into third. Hamilton almost got through past Verstappen as well. Not that it would have mattered too much. Verstappen on the fresher compound, the fresher tires. Probably would have got that spot back pretty easily. Norris is on the radio. Okay, Verstappen's pitted. That means he's on a 3-stop, but we're happy with our plan. I wonder what their plan is. 2-stopper, I'm guessing. So Piastri back into the lead. Norris almost 5 seconds back, and now Charles Leclerc in third. But Charles Leclerc might be easy pickings there for Max in the Red Bull on those fresh medium tires. But it looks like Max is doing a 3-stopper. Hamilton almost got through, which, Hamilton would have been easy pickings for Verstappen regardless, but still. Hamilton on the radio, just no grip. The rear is nowhere today, he says. No razor tonight, Jamie. Or contact. One of the racing balls, Liam Lawson. And Ollie Behrman. Contact there. But both stay on track. And the Haas stays ahead. 32 laps of 66 in. Piastri from Norris, from Leclerc. Verstappen, though, he'll start to motor along and fight for that podium spot. Of course, Razor, usually a very familiar sight here on the F1 streams. Tell him he was greatly missed. And I'll have a drink on his behalf. Cheers. Oh, God, not a bad day. Not a bad Sunday. That's 3 footy streams and now the F1. The 32 laps from 66. No, I'll tell you what, Jamie. I've been getting like the worst hangovers from that. I get no hangover from the Rumbos, but yeah. It's funny because when I first started having them, you know, low carb, zero carb, nice taste, doesn't taste like cardboard, and there was no hangover. But yeah, I've been starting to feel pretty seedy the day after. So I've kind of gone off him a little bit. Verstappen's on the radio. No clutch while upshifting. So Verstappen in 4th spot, but he's not a happy camper. Halfway through this race now officially. 33 laps of 66 in. Yeah, so I don't know anymore about those better beers. Bit of a shame for my diet. Because they were perfect for one's diet. So the pit window for the medium tires, lap 32 to 48. I'm pretty sure Leclerc's got another set of fresh softs. So Charles Leclerc, he might be looking to finish on the soft tire. It's interesting to see. It's good to see all these different strategies that are going about with the top 10. Verstappen back on the radio. Okay, not a whole lot said there. They're just letting him know how many laps are in. The 34 of 66 in. It's Piastri from Norris. From Leclerc. Verstappen, though, has halved that gap. He's only 2 seconds behind Leclerc now for that 3rd podium spot. He should be able to track that down very quickly. Verstappen now almost in DRS range of Charles Leclerc. I told you he'd track him down pretty quickly. He has just eaten up that gap. He's now within DRS range. I wonder if they can get, if anybody can get the tires home from here. You know that Red Bull like to do something a little bit different just to keep themselves in the race. Norris is on the radio, being told to push more into turn 3 and turn 9. As Verstappen down the inside with DRS wide open takes over Charles Leclerc. and back up into third place. So there we go. 36 laps of 66 in, and we're back to exactly how we started, basically. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, and Leclerc there in fourth, Hamilton in fifth, Russell and Antonelli. So there's been lots happening out there, but we're pretty much back to how we started. I think it's just Russell that's dropped down. "30 laps to go." Could Verstappen, who is flying at the moment, actually, he's only he's less than 10 seconds behind the McLaren. So McLaren, once they pit again, if they were to pit right now, they'd come out about 10 seconds behind Max. And if Verstappen decides he's not going to pit again, they've certainly broken up the strategy and made this very interesting, have the Red Bulls. Well, the one Red Bull. Poor Yuki Tsunoda's not doing much down there in 14th place, but yeah, they've switched it up nicely and given Max a chance here. Big chance, depending on what they decide to do. Look, obviously, if Max can't get these mediums all the way through to the end and he has to pit again, it's game over. That's why I think they might try and push on here. It'd be tough. Can Verstappen guide those tyres all the way through to the end? George is told to close up the gap there on Lewis Hamilton, push for fifth spot. In the battle for second, Norris and Verstappen. And on the fresher tyres, Verstappen closing in on Lando Norris. In 6 laps, they reckon the battle will be on. So absolutely flying here is Max Verstappen. Williams on Williams. Overtake. Oh, no, it was Williams on Alpine. Sorry. Sainz getting around Colapinto. Poor Carlos. I don't like seeing him down there. Definitely a driver that deserves better. Here's Yuki Tsunoda now on board. Dives down the inside of Esteban Ocon. And Tsunoda is up another place here, up into 13th. Verstappen 5 seconds behind Norris. So what do McLaren do? They're going to have to respond at some point. Interesting here. Red Bull. Quality strategy. They've certainly asked some questions, the cheeky buggers. Okay, Mercedes still want George to push and close that gap, but he's not really closing it. Hamilton maintaining that 2-second lead. 26 laps to go. Piastri from Norris from Verstappen. The same top three that we started with. Verstappen flying on the fresher tyres. They've certainly managed to throw the cat amongst the pigeons here, Red Bull. Can Verstappen get 26 more laps off these tyres? Hang on. Okay. McLaren are receiving the threat now, Max. They realize they have to push on. It's a long way to go for them. So Red Bull have successfully thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. As I said, they've made the McLarens stop and think. Charles Leclerc told to box. Leclerc told to box on lap 41. He'll be coming in from 4th place. Colapinto's in the pits as well, down in 18th. Leclerc comes back out in 6th. Ahead of Antonelli. Leclerc on fresh tyres. He should get some good pace out of that, especially later in the stint. Lap 41 of 66. And I tell you what, this race is actually up in the air. This race is well and truly up in the air. On board here with Max Verstappen in 3rd spot, 4 seconds back from the McLarens. But he is eating into their lead. There'll be pressure on here. Do they respond with early pit stops? Russell into the pits from 5th place. So Leclerc should and does dive back ahead. So Leclerc through, Antonelli through. Russell comes out ahead of Hadjar in the Racing Bull. So he maintains 7th place. That's the 3rd stop for George Russell. So he'll be going through to the end of the race here on this fresh set of soft tyres. But all the debate, all the talk going to be about what happens with this top 3. Verstappen is putting pressure on the McLarens, but they're maintaining that gap of 4 seconds. There's Valtteri Bottas, an honorary Aussie. Valtteri on the Mercedes pit wall, enjoying the show. Okay, so Piastri and Norris, 20 and 21 aged tyres, lap 21 laps. Verstappen on 13 lap old mediums. We're just trying to get some sort of time difference. We're wondering if Verstappen can manage to stay out there. can the McLarens hold him off? And how long are they going to look to hold him off? That's the other thing as well. How much longer do they look to hold him off? There's 22 laps to go. They've got to give themselves enough time. Should Verstappen stay out and try and see the race through, they've got to make sure that they have enough time to track down what would ultimately be like an 18-second lead. Well, this has become a very intriguing race. Just to see what this pit strategy is going to be from that top three. Lap 44 of 66. Okay, Verstappen is now starting to drop back. He was within 4 seconds at one point. He's now started to drop back a little bit, 4.2 seconds, as the McLarens look like they're getting some pace up. On board here with George Russell. Talking about George Russell's outlap here. Okay, so 2.4 seconds quicker, George Russell. .4 seconds quicker. George Russell's gone on those fresh softs, so that is a good figure to try and figure out. They've still got a little bit of time to play with than the McLarens, but not a whole lot. That gap is closing. The Piastri from Norris, from Verstappen, and Verstappen's just hanging around that 4-second mark. The gap back from Lando. Piastri's opened up the space out in front. It was 3.3 seconds at one point. Piastri's broken away to a 4.2-second lead out there in front. The championship leader, the race leader, looks like he's got this pretty comfortably in his grasp. Now, if he were to pit here, he would come out in third ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So it's quite a comfortable gap at the moment. But then he's obviously got to leave himself enough time to fight back through past Verstappen, past Norris, although Norris will probably pit at some point as well. And if they're making about 2.5 seconds per lap on the fresh tires, you can start to try and equate just how many laps the McLarens might need to track down Max Verstappen should he decide to stay out. With 20 laps to go, you would think that they've still got this firmly in their grasp. The McLarens looking for a 1-2. Hamilton told to box. In fourth place at the moment, Lewis Hamilton. This will be his final stop. He'll come out maybe in seventh place, in behind Antonelli. They'll be hoping to get him out ahead of Isaac Hadjar. Slow pit stop. Painful there for Lewis. he going to come out ahead of Hadjar? He should. Hadjar coming down the main straight now. Hadjar's going to be close, but falls in behind Hamilton here, and Lewis just ahead of Isaac Hadjar. Comes out in 7th place, but that was a lot closer than he would have wanted it to be. "47 laps of 66 in, or 48 now, sorry. It's all about what's going to happen out in front there. Max has got himself in a great position. Oh, Red Bull are out. Red Bull around in the pit lane, and Verstappen comes into the pits. Red Bull are looking for the undercut. 3 stops. Looking for an undercut. Do Mercedes now respond? They had, well, Norris had 4 seconds on Verstappen, which means Piastri had about 10. So they'll have a couple of laps to have a think about it. Norris is responding. McLaren are pulling Lando Norris in. Tsunoda's going to come out ahead of his teammate, is he? Yes. Yuki Tsunoda, though, goes wide and lets him straight back through. Yuki Tsunoda playing the team game eventually. So Norris is told to box. Lando Norris is the one under threat from the undercut, in fairness. Piastri comfortable out in front. Although, geez, Piastri's going to have to come in the next lap. They've got to do Norris first. Yes, Piastri's comfortable out in the lead. And here comes Lando. Norris is in the pits. They're trying to protect the undercut from Verstappen. And let's see, did they have enough distance here, the McLarens? Norris dives in. That's a great pit stop. And he should come out still ahead of Verstappen, turning onto the main straight now. There's Max coming down the main straight. Lando Norris exiting the pit lane. Going to be tight, but he's out ahead. The undercut has not worked, but Verstappen is on his tail. Both on the fresh soft compound. Piastri, 28 seconds ahead. He's got a comfortable pit stop. He can wait another lap even if he wants. McLaren have played this perfectly. They didn't crumble under the pressure. Piastri told to box. McLaren have held off the threat of Max Verstappen, who will have DRS on Lando Norris, but Norris's tyres haven't ramped up just yet. So even if Verstappen does go through, Norris should be able to pick him off and get him back very easily. Piastri into the pits. A rapid stop for the race leader, for the championship leader. And out he goes back into the lead of this race, comfortably ahead. McLaren have played this perfectly with 16 laps to go. Beautiful pit stops. Honestly, perfection there from McLaren. They resisted the urge. They were put under pressure. They were made to think. It was beautiful strategy from Red Bull. They had nothing to lose. Verstappen is right on their tail. They made them think, but McLaren didn't panic, and they responded in kind, and they did it perfectly. And they should be able to see this through now comfortably. 16 laps remaining. Piastri from Norris, who has now broken DRS again. And now Max is complaining about the car. Oh, poor little baby. It didn't work out for you, did it? So now it's the car's fault. McLaren 1-2, holding off the threat of Verstappen from behind. And it should be a simple cruise through to the finish, short of mechanical failure. A 1-2 incoming here for McLaren, who have played this to absolute perfection. And then, yeah, the car is undrivable. And then he gets the fastest lap. Max. You big baby. All right, Piastri from Norris. 15 laps to go. As they navigate some back markers here. Oh my God, there's nearly a crash right in front of Norris. The racing ball and the Haas going wheel to wheel, and they're causing all kinds of nuisance. Norris goes through, but that was nearly, oh my God, that was nearly chaos. There was nearly a big crash right in front of Lando. And Norris and Verstappen go through. Verstappen back within DRS. It held up Lando Norris just enough. But Lawson and Alonso nearly wiping each other out right in front of Norris. And Norris is now broken free from Verstappen's DRS again. Well, I've got to say, I agree with Verstappen. I agree with Max on this occasion on the radio. Effing idiots, he says, as Liam Lawson and Alonso, the backmarkers, having a fight right in front of the podium finishers. That is not the time to be having that battle. Alonso now around the outside of Behrman, and he's going to go after Lawson again. It's Alonso versus Lawson. Here we are on board with Liam Lawson. Now, the blue flags. It's under blue flags. Jeez. It was under blue flags, so, I mean, they're supposed to just be moving out of the way, not fighting with each other. That could have been huge consequence for Norris and for Verstappen. Ben Woods, ahoy, mate. Lawson and Alonso have got history. 54 laps in of 66. It's Oscar Piastri leading the race, leading the championship. Lando Norris in second, Max Verstappen in third. "54 laps of 66. Leclerc down in fourth. Russell in fifth, Hamilton in sixth. So I think we've ended up pretty much how we started as this race meanders along to the end. And Oscar Piastri breaking away. 3.3 seconds out in the lead. Norris is now 2.3 ahead of Max Verstappen. The McLarens Just too quick at the moment. Glenn Woods says, can Lando catch Oscar? And if he does, then what's going to happen? I don't think he can. 11 laps remaining. Piastri's pulling away out in the clean air. Be very hard to track him down. When they came out of the pits, Oscar pitted 1 lap later than Lando. They came out of the pits. Oscar was only like 1.8 seconds ahead at that point. And Verstappen was within DRS. Oh, yellow flag. Yellow flag. And into the gravel is one of the Aston Martins. Well, this could shake things up. Oh, no, it's a Mercedes. It's Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli is well off track into the gravel. Safety car! Safety car! Well, this has shaken things up late in the race. 11 laps to go, and we've got a safety car. Well, that's a little unnecessary. Tell me that has not been done just to create some excitement. There is no reason this could not be cleaned up with a virtual safety car, but they have gone the full safety car. Oh. Into the pits. Oscar Piastri into the pits. Here comes Lando Norris as well. They've double stacked here, the McLarens. Verstappen's in the pits. They're diving in. Here comes Norris. They still come out 1 and 2. The McLarens come out 1-2. Verstappen comes out in 3rd. All the cars coming into the pits here under the safety car. So there we go. They all started to dive into the pits. Leclerc now in the pits. Russell in the pits. Everybody's having a stop here with 10 laps to go. Well, this is an interesting call. Wow. Okay. Max Verstappen's gone onto the hard tyre. Max Verstappen's gone onto the hard tyre. The 2 McLarens out in front are on softs. The cars behind, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Hadjar, they're all on soft tyres. Max is going to be easy pickings. Max Verstappen is going to be under serious threat at the restart. He's gone onto the hard tyre. He jumped on the radio and asked the team, why have we gone onto the hard compound? And he was told it was the only option they had. Max on a 3-stopper. That's now his 4th spot. He had no tyres left. They've had to go for the hard tyre. Max is going to be under serious threat of losing a podium here. Well, this has certainly shaken things up. Max is going to be under severe threat. Will there be enough laps for the cars behind to attack? You can't convince me for 1 second that a full safety car was needed. Kimi Antonelli had gone way off track up into the gravel. A virtual safety car would have been enough there. Honestly. Virtual safety car was enough to clean this up. You can't tell me they didn't do that on purpose just to shake this race up. Because as it stood, we were just going to cruise through for a McLaren 1-2. Look, we're still going to get the McLaren one too, because on those soft tires, they're just going to fly away from Max in third. The battle now is going to be Max on the hard tire, fighting off those behind him. That's going to be the excitement now, because those McLarens on the softs are just going to fly away. How many laps will be left? How many cars will be able to get past Max? Because you know, even on the hard compound, he is going to defend for dear life. Leclerc, Russell, and Hamilton behind him. But again, I mean, conspiracy theorist within, you can't tell me, or you can't convince me. You can tell me, but you can't convince me a full safety car was needed to clean that up. Kimi Antonelli was well off track in the gravel there. A virtual safety car would have been fine. You can't convince me they didn't do that on purpose. But anyway, it's certainly shaken things up. How many laps are they going to go around? 58 of 66 in. I can't wait for the post-race interviews now. Max will be fuming. Oscar Piastri leads the race. The cars will start to tighten up here under the safety car. Hulkenberg and Gasly lurking behind there, as you can see. Soft tires for the entire top 10 except for Verstappen. He'll be a city duck. Welcome to 2021, Max. Okay, the lapped cars may now overtake. Okay, that means I've got time for a toilet break. Lap 59 of 66. Oh, wow. Well, hey, look, at least it made it a very exciting finish here. Because it did look like the last 12 laps were just going to be, the last laps were just going to be absolutely nothing. Piastri was just flying out in front. And now that Max has only got the hard tire, geez, Max could fall down to 6th or 7th here. Excuse me. Okay. Is it going to be the end of this lap? Will there be 6 laps of racing to go? Surely they pull the safety car in. Up. This might finish under a safety car. Liam Lawson is still leading this pack that's like half a track back of the unlapped cars. All right, so there's probably only going to be like 4 laps of racing left. Oh, safety car's ending this lap. Okay, so we will get 5 laps. Verstappen's going to be under threat from Leclerc, Russell, and Hamilton. And the McLarens are going to go flying off into the distance. It'll be a 2-horse race for the win. The McLarens will go toe-to-toe for the race victory. Verstappen, can he hold on to third? He's going to have all these cars on soft tires right behind him. He has to hold on for 5 laps. At the very least, I think he loses the podium to Leclerc. At worst, he ends up down in 7th spot. Green flag, track is clear, and off they go. Piastri breaks away. Norris goes with him. Verstappen already falling back. And Verstappen's going to be under huge threat here from Leclerc, who's got much better grip. Verstappen has a little bit of a wobble, and Leclerc goes through. Charles Leclerc's got the inside line. Verstappen trying to come back at him, but Leclerc on the softer compound goes blitzing through. Russell's coming through as well. Verstappen forced to the outside and off track. He goes through the exit lane. Verstappen's going to have to give that place back, but Leclerc goes through. Charles Leclerc up into the podium. Verstappen down to 4th, and Russell will surely be on the radio complaining about that overtake off track. Verstappen's on the radio. Oh, saying he rammed into me. He did the same. That's a penalty. Verstappen now under big pressure from George Russell. Verstappen struggling on these hard tires. All the soft tires behind him are going to have a very big go. There's still 5 laps left. Leclerc breaking away. It's the 2 McLarens. And the Ferrari. 1, 2, 3. Russell having a big look here. Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg's gone through on Hadjar. Russell is right on his tail with all that extra grip. Piastri and Norris. Norris is maintaining DRS range for once it gets reactivated. And here's a replay. Let's have a look. Leclerc versus Verstappen. Now Verstappen wobbles. Verstappen wobbles. Leclerc gets up the inside. And I'm sorry, Max, but you have turned into him. Leclerc taking advantage of that big wobble from Max. Gets right up alongside him. Gets beyond. And that is Leclerc's line. And then Russell had a good look down the inside. And Max has gone off track. Well, maybe Max actually got confused. He was on the radio saying that he got rammed by Leclerc, but I think it might actually have been George Russell who made the contact with him. So there we go. 63 laps of 66 in. Verstappen's lost the podium, and he's now under immense threat from George Russell. Russell being investigated, though. So Russell may cop a penalty for that contact on Verstappen. So even if he does get through, Verstappen will get that place back on Russell. You would think if he does get penalized. We don't know. It's just being investigated. So 3 laps to go. Piastri's broken clear of Norris out in front. We're on board with Alonso here. And that safety car certainly made things interesting at the back end of this race. Looking very much like a McLaren 1-2. I feel like Ferrari's had a podium this year. Verstappen on the radio saying he needs to give the position back. Yeah, not happening, Max. Russell with DRS has a look on the inside, but Max holding him off here on that hard tyre. Verstappen on the radio again. Oh! Max is being told to let George Russell through. What? Oh, contact! Max has chucked an epic fit and just purposely barged into George Russell. Max was told to let Russell through. Max says no and purposely rammed into him. You are joking me. Oh, come on, Max. That's too much, mate. That's too much. I'm sorry, but that is just ridiculous. Purposely bumped him. Now he lets him through, but it's after he's given him a good whack. And Verstappen's going to cop a penalty. He's just cost himself so many places with that. Max will surely get a 10-second penalty at least for that. Max might have just cost himself a points finish. He might have just cost himself a points finish there. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen. That's disgusting, Max. Come on, mate. Jeez. Unbelievable. Bang! Straight into him. That's a big penalty incoming. That's license points as well. He's got to be disqualified. That is surely a disqualification. 10-second penalty if he's lucky. That's got to be a DQ. I'm sorry. That has got to be a straight disqualification. Purposely barging into another car. Purposely. That wasn't even an accident. That was a complete hissy fit. Wow. Talk about throwing your toys out of the cot. On to the final lap we go. It's Piastri from Norris, from Leclerc. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Wow. I mean, obviously it didn't cause an accident or anything, but still. That is just completely unnecessary. Wow. Final lap. Piastri is going to extend his lead in the championship. Norris in second place. Charles Leclerc to round out the podium, and Verstappen, at very least, will get a 10-second penalty, if not a straight disqualification. Piastri and Norris, McLaren 1-2. And here's Leclerc for the third podium spot. Russell in fourth, Verstappen in fifth. For now, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Hadjar. That is 100% one of the worst things I've ever seen. Verstappen completely threw his toys out of the cot and purposely charged into George Russell. Wow. God, I tell you what, I give Max Verstappen so much grief on these streams, but now I feel like it is completely justified. What an absolute flog. 10-second penalty. Well, he is lucky to only get that. That should have been a straight disqualification. So Verstappen will be down in 10th place. That should be a straight DQ. Oh, Glenn Woods, honestly, mate, what I just saw surprised even me. I mean, I know that he defends very aggressively. He drives very aggressively, but that, I mean, that's next level. That's, you expect to see that playing Formula One racing online on the PlayStation. I know that Max loves his sim racing, and maybe he just forgot where he was. Maybe he forgot that he wasn't behind a computer screen. But, yeah, I've got to say that honestly even surprised me. Oh, 10th. But it should have been a DQ. It absolutely should have been a straight DQ. I'm sorry. That was just uncalled for. One of the worst things I've seen in a long time. Well, the safety car certainly brought us a lot of excitement. Wow, I can't wait for all the post-race banter that will come along with that. And I guarantee you, there'll still be people defending him. There'll be people that defend Max over that. His fans are just so hardcore. They'll defend him for that. I'll look forward to some of these conversations. Unbelievable. But anyways, let's not let this take focus away from our boy, Oscar Piastri. Another race win extends his lead in the championship. A McLaren 1-2. Let's not let that little incident take away the shine from this moment. Oscar Piastri. Whew. Anyways, my friends, I'm exhausted. 3 games of footy. You know, I've been streaming since 2 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, literally streaming since 2 o'clock this arvo. 3 games of NRL. We did a whole half of the Aussie rules with no break in between, and then straight into the Formula One. 2 in the afternoon until 12:40 a.m. I don't know how long that is, but that's a long-ass day. I'm ready to go have a lie down, and I'm currently playing Days Gone on the PlayStation there. So after the streams, I like to just have a little bit of a chill out, play some Days Gone at the moment, and then I'll get to sleep eventually. And we'll be back tomorrow. Well, later today, 6:30 p.m. Australian time. Tonight, not another bloody wrestling show. So, for the professional wrestling fans amongst us here in the chat room, live here on the channel, not another bloody wrestling show. Our fortnightly wrestling podcast will be live later today, 6:30 this evening. So if you're into that sort of thing, or even if you're not, feel free to come and hang out and say ahoy, hang out with us, have a few drinks. Thank you so much for joining me today, wherever you've joined me from, and whichever game you might have joined from, if you've been here for all of them. Very much appreciate your company. It's been fun, an exciting end to this one. I take my leave now. Until next time, cheers. I finished my drink, so there's a little bit left. All right. Cheers, everyone.